Green Arrow number 25, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Andrea Sorrentino. It's a 0-year tie-in, and we open up in Seattle 6 years ago. Superstorm's coming through Gotham, and in Seattle, Emerson is watching the TV. And the TV is just going on and on about like, yeah, the Superstorm. But Bruce Wayne literally just revealed that he came back from the dead. He announced his presence. He's like, hey, it's me, Bruce Wayne. And now all of a sudden he's missing again because the Riddler's 0-year stuff is going on. So as Emerson's watching the TV, hoodied figure comes up behind him being like, I never did like that guy. He always steals my headlines. And Emerson turns around and sees it's Oliver. He's back from the island. This is the first time they've met. And Emerson's like, how? That's impossible. And he's like, yeah, it was an island. Look, I will tell you everything that you need to know later. But first, how's my mom? How's she doing? And Emerson's like, oh, you don't know. You hear about this storm in Gotham? She's there. She's in Gotham. She heard that like a lot of people were not doing okay with the power being out, and so she went to provide humanitarian aid herself. And Oliver's like, why didn't anyone stop her? It's like, she's her own person. I can't stop her like that. So Oliver says, all right, I need the Queen Industries jet up and ready to go to Gotham, like now. He's like, no, you can't go there. And she's like, own person and you can't stop her? Shut up, Emerson. So we see in Gotham there's a best I could describe it as a soup kitchen, but it's just a place for a lot of people to stay. And Miss Queen is there with Andy Diggle and some other random bodyguard. And she's basically saying like, okay, look, Diggle, I understand you want me to get out of here, but I'm not. Like, I'm here, I'm helping these people. That's important. And he's like, right, but you can't do anything more right now. You have done everything you could do. Let's get out of the city before things get bad. And then all of a sudden they hear something, and all the windows behind them shatter out. And then gas canisters start flying in. It knocks out a bunch of the people there. But the bodyguards tell Diggle, like, hey, get her out of here, get her to safety before they're knocked out as well. And we see this man coming in saying, where is my queen? And he's got a gas mask and this gun on him that's hooked up to these gas canisters. So outside of Gotham City, Oliver's able to sneak in through a sewer. He's like, yeah, everyone's so focused on getting out of Gotham that nobody really cares about people sneaking in. However, I really don't want people to know that I, Oliver Queen, am back yet. That's very important. So I'm going to have to go in disguise. And he pulls out this green hoodie that he was wearing, and now he's using it as a disguise. So Diggle's protecting Moira Queen, and we see that this person, he doesn't get an official name, but it is Killer Moth. This is just before he's picked a name. He says, yeah, no, I'm looking for the queen of the moths, and I've just got mental illness. That's really all it is. I like moths, and that's going to be my shtick. And so Diggle fires off a shot. He responds with his own shot, but his shot uses highly pressurized air, like super pressurized to the point where it crumples the bullet. So then Diggle approaches him and just starts trying to beat him up. But Moth's got a few hits on his own, so he lands a punch, uses his gun, blasts Diggle away, and says, okay, Miss Queen, hi, how's it going? You are going to be worth millions if I ransom you, so let's go, I'm kidnapping you. And then all of a sudden an arrow pierces his hand, and you think it's Green Arrow, but actually it's Batman with a crossbow. He's like, oh, you're not taking her anywhere. So Batman shows up, he punches Moth in the face. They get into a little bit of a fight, and Moth is like, hey, you're my inspiration. You're the whole reason I'm doing this. And Batman's like, no, that's not good for my image. Please don't say that. So then Moth manages to use his gun enough to get Batman away. He's down on the ground. Moth puts his gun in his face and says, like, do you know what's going to happen if I pull it from this close? And then all of a sudden his wrist is impaled with another arrow. And this time it is Oliver saying, get away from him. He fires off another shot, misses, and Oliver's like, ah, crap. So Batman tells Green Arrow, get out of here. I don't need an amateur messing up my business. And Oliver's like, excuse me, I just saved your life. You were about to get a blast from the face. And he's like, I had it under control. So they managed to knock down Moth and then just start taking punches back and forth on him until finally Batman's like, all right, we got him. Hey, Miss Queen, why don't you come with me? I can get you out of Gotham. And Queen's like, I'm going to go with the green one. And he's like, what? All right, fine, I'll take care of Moth. Don't let her die. So takes away Moth. And then Diggle's still standing there. He's seeing all that. And Moira looks at Oliver, takes off his hood, and says, "Oh my God, it's my son, my baby boy. What are you doing here? What happened to you?" And she's like, "It's a long story, but I don't even know where to start." And we get a one-page flashback image, I guess, of Oliver being kicked off a cliffside by this mercenary type looking character. So, yeah, I guess. And then it says, "Next time the Outsiders War begins." And I mean, I'm pumped for the Outsiders War. I'll just straight say that. I've been looking forward to that story ever since I knew it was coming. So, beyond that, this issue, it's good. I mean, it's as good as any other Jeff Lemire issue that's been going on. I can't remember if we got the story of Oliver returning to Seattle. I don't think we did. I think this is actually the first time we've explored that in any meaningful capacity. So, all in all, it makes sense. You fit it in on this period of like, okay, he comes back and he has to go rescue his mom immediately. It's not a bad place to come into, throwing in Batman in the mix. I do like how, because this is leaning more towards the Arrow TV show, we're bringing in Diggle and all that, and obviously the criticisms or even compliments of the Arrow show was that it's just Batman. It's funny here that these two are like doing the same things to Killer Moth just in order to show how similar they are. It's clever writing, I'll give it that much. So overall, I think this is a 7.5. It may just be standalone. It's completely ignorable in its own right, but God, the art looks fantastic. And I don't mind anything about it, really. It's just a nice, solid little one-shot that you can take or leave on its own merit, but it's good for me.